Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome, everybody, to another show of He Said, She Said. Tonight, I am joined by the round table guys, right? This is our round table, pretty much.
Emphasis on round for one of us.
Are you talking about pizza or?
You calling us fat?
I'm calling y'all, like Knights of the Round Table. You don't get the
Oh.
round table. You honestly think I would
Knights of the Round Table?
Yes. I'm joined by Rick, Orty, and Jeff tonight, and we're going to have a roundtable discussion on a really cool idea that Jeff came up with that made me laugh because I have never thought so much about food for an entire week in my life. Not even when I was cooking for Thanksgiving for 20 people.
Nice.
So I hope you're happy.
Yep, I am.
How are you guys doing tonight?
You sound like it, Droopy. You sound really happy.
No, I'm just warming up. I just got done playing like 3.5 hours worth of Baldur's Gate 3 with my son.
The dating simulator?
Oh, I showed him the scene with the bugbear and the big ogre chick.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's
Great dating simulator. What's with all the combat?
It's like
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like contractual now. When you mention Baldur's Gate 3, I have to do this. Mom, can you check and see if Kathy Kennedy is under my bed?
Yeah, sad to say, but that's the only thing I know about this game. I think I'm the only person at KLRN that has never played a PC game or a video game.
We have to fix that, like yesterday.
No, we do not.
Yeah,
I actually like my life.
No. See, I've already talked to Ori about what we're doing next Halloween. Thank you.
I haven't.
Okay, I gotta ask what y'all doing.
I haven't been included in this memo, so I have no idea what they're talking about.
No, you haven't.
Okay, what? If you all tell me a pair of 20-sided die, I'm gonna scream.
No, we're gonna make you play a video game.
No, you're not. I would rather clip my nails in a Cuisinart. Thank you. I never really got into it. I tried. I will be honest. I did try, and I just it was never really appealing to me. And this is coming from a person that actually met Richard Garriott and various people who have made inroads into the whole video gaming and PC gaming business. So it just never took.
Fun times. It says they're saying it's choppy. Hang on.
Okay.
We're having that trouble last night too.
You guys keep talking. I'm gonna see if what's going on. I think Jeff's checking on his end.
Talk
I'm gonna check
amongst
things over
yourselves.
here. Well, no, I think Jeff's checking the server's side. I'm gonna check this side. You two talk amongst yourselves for a second.
So anyway, hi. What's going
Hi.
on? What's new with Aggie? What's going on in Aggie's world?
Okay, so I do have some thrifting news that you guys will probably have a really good laugh over. It wasn't thrifting, really. I went to an estate sale here locally. There was one of the oldest houses in town. The lady's grandmother passed away, and so she's clearing it out, and they're going to sell the house and all that stuff. And I usually go back to the shop area in case there are any woodworking tools or, paints or stuff like that they want to get rid of. And you can always find clear top coat or stripper or, any kind of weird fun tools or whatever. So I went back there and we were digging treasure trove of vintage Playboy.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, we're talking from the 60s all the way up to the 90s. And I'm snagging these.
I mean, shame about all that bush, but other than that, nice.
Well, it's funny because I have been trying to locate a really nice copy of the one with Shannon Tweed. She was 1982, I think it was. And so I've been looking for it. Finally found it. Found the one with her and her sister, because they did a sister layout. I bet nobody knows that.
Because why wouldn't you?
I'm a big Shannon Tweed fan. So that was kind of like a big find for me. And but the one with Jane Mansfield was in there. The one Raquel Welch, Jane Seymour, Farrah Fawcett, the one that she did when she turned 50, that was in there. And so I was just like, holy cow, I cannot believe that I found this. This is so cool, but some were pretty poor condition, but there were some that were in really good condition. So I have to go through and, so that was my exciting news for today. Aggie found a treasure trove of Playboy magazines. I didn't find any furniture, but I found that.
Still a win.
I think so. I mean, I'm looking through them going, the covers themselves from the 60s were really tastefully done. They never showed anything, and most of them were actually not photographs. They were like sketches from photographs,
The thing with getting the ones from the 60s and 70s, too, is that you would get all of the article. Yes, there were actual articles in Playboy, too, written by Hunter S. Thompson and P.J. O'Rourke.
Mm-hmm. There were. And, a lot of them have those. I have there was one that had, what do you call it? Joe Frazier. The one with Jimmy Carter. Remember that one?
Uh-huh.
The famous one that sank his presidency, that one.
Yeah, the Malays.
Yes. Henry Kissinger. Several. I don't care about the pictorials. I was looking for the articles. I was looking for specific ones with the articles. And so I found those. And those were kind of cool.
Well, what's funny is that worlds colliding, Playboy and juxtaposition. I actually learned about MK Ultra from Playboy.
Really?
When they were talking about the government testing nerve agents over New York and San Francisco just to see if they would work.
Wow. That is pretty cool.
So I think that was an early 80s article. And that's it. Yeah. So yeah, it was, it's like, yes, there used to be like counterculture news in Playboy as well.
I remember that. And I remember, and it wasn't just Playboy. I believe Penthouse had one that
Bob Guccione was like, he was just absolute libertarian fucking news. Before there was Reason Magazine, there was Penthouse.
There was a really good column, the one about the military, that would talk about things that were going on in the military that the government didn't tell you about. And it was written by someone who had retired from the military. I forget who it was, but he still had people like in every corner of the military. And they would let him know about things that were going on that affected the politics in the military, in the Defense Department, and they would write about that.
Yeah.
And I'd be going, yes, I did read it for the articles, people.
Well, really, you think about it, that was the only way to get like big news out. Even today we're still talking about corporate media. But if you wanted your article to get in front of a lot of eyes, and you knew that you weren't going to get published in WAPO or New York Times or anything else,
right?
You went to Playboy, you went to Penthouse.
And it's funny because I was talking about Playboy magazine being the first of its kind, I suppose, widely distributed, that kind of thing, and the women that I was talking to this about, who was at the estate sale as well, she was like, I just don't understand why men would need those magazines. And I said, well, you have to look at it from the point of view of what magazines were around back then. I said women had all these magazines. And even the magazines that were for everybody to read still were more about the home front than they were about the work front. So Life magazine and Saturday Evening Post, and then you had Harper's Bazaar, you had McCall's, you had Glamour, you had all of these other magazines. They were all for women because women stayed at home and they needed something to read. The man had the newspaper. The man went to work. So he really didn't have magazines that were his own. I mean, when you think back, Popular Mechanics, Popular Science, those are relatively new compared to what all the other magazines that had been around for, over 100 years by now. So, so when this magazine came around, this was catering to men. What better way to cater to men than with women? I mean, I really can't think of anything else. So this, and they kind of, they were like, I always thought it was kind of like a misogynistic thing. I said, no, it was really not meant that way. It really was not. It really was not. And then they started thinking, yeah, I guess you're right. This was, guys didn't really have anything that was theirs. I said, no, they didn't. So yeah, that's how I'm doing today. Ordy, how about you?
I take back. Also, on top of everything else, you had Rolling Stone too, when they used to do actual news.
Like news, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, P.J. O'Rourke and Hunter S. Thompson wrote for them as well, and that's counterculture. Not so much anymore.
No, they've caved. They've all caved. So. Which is sad, because you still want something that's more underground and more raw and just subversive. I enjoyed that. I going back and reading some of these articles, and I was just like, wow, even now.
See, and that's what I do enjoy about Twitter, though, is that you can tailor your experience to be as weird as you fucking want. I mean, y'all follow me, so you know that.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
No, I'm doing great. I actually worked under 10 hours for the first time since ever, so I don't know what to do with myself. So I decided to come on here.
Oh, that's sweet. Apparently, it's still kind of choppy, so I do not know what's going on.
You're choppy.
I'm choppy?
I don't know.
Or you're not choppy. Not to me, anyway.
No, you're not choppy. I'm talking about this.
It's been clean on. I don't know what's going on because I just checked it on my phone. It's clean.
Oh, okay. So Danielle says it's gone.
Okay.
So, alrighty, coolness.
Anyway, so
I hope Jeff is Jeff back?
I don't think
I'm
so.
here.
Yeah. Okay, there.
Okay, I guess he is back now. I was gonna say he was having a reboot because he was having a sound card issue on his end.
Oh yeah, it failed completely. I couldn't play anything on any device.
Which is funny. That's what Cranky was kicking himself for last night, not rebooting after playing Civ. That's what he figured the problem was with on his end last night.
I think it's Spreaker. I mean, last night you guys were on Discord with Cranky. Tonight it's Skype with Rick. So the only commonality is the Spreaker app.
I'm with you, brother.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it may be something on listener's side because on my phone it was coming through perfect the whole time.
It's all you Android users. Those anti-Semites at Apple. I mean, no, sorry, Apple users. Android users are fine.
Okay.
I have an iPhone, you hateful bastard, and it works fine.
You know, okay, I remember like 6 years ago there was an article that has been completely scrubbed of the internet, and it was how iPhone users were the worst people on the planet.
Oh, I remember that.
I only changed over to iPhone by duress.
Absolutely scrubbed.
I changed over to iPhone under duress. My 68-year-old dad bought an iPhone, and I had to teach him how to use it.
Oh,
that's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you do the things you do for your folks. Yeah, that you
You guys are still
that.
using phones?
Stop.
Hey, I just need to go on the record. Tonight's appearance for me is sponsored by President John McAfee of Earth 420, where
Yes.
are the good guys.
Honestly, that should have been a thing here. I'm so upset that it didn't. We would have been great.
I don't think Katz knew what to do with that answer because he's like, usually he'll like reply pretty quick. He liked it, but he hasn't said dick.
Oh man,
I like the
I
thread
like
too. It's like I like the thread too because I'm playing up with the fact that he's not actually dead.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before the show, he's living in Patagonia like a king.
All I know is in that timeline, it's 420 everywhere all the time. I'm just saying.
The dread
So
President McAfee. Right?
Okay. Another thing. I've never done anything related to 420 in my life. So
what kind of
I'm really
what kind
the
of
biggest
sheltered
noob here.
what kind of sheltered life have you lived, ma'am?
See,
My mom says
that's-
I should have been a nun.
You're stealing my pickup line there.
None
What,
of that.
that I should have been a nun?
Hey, you want to go do some 420? I'm right here.
Even my sisters give me the side eye like, I can't believe you haven't lived your life. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I'm looking at them going, I'm the oldest. I look the youngest. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm living my life pretty well. They don't like that. They really don't like that. But anyway, moving on away from Hanky being a nun.
Wait, does this mean we should start calling you Gidget?
Oh, stop. No.
The flying nun.
No, I mean, seriously, Brad will tell you stories, like, and Stacy, when we met at that CPAC, they will tell you, it's like, you know, they'll be talking about it, and I'll be like, I have no idea. No idea what you're talking about. And they're looking at me like, how old are you? Oh, man. I am pathetic, I admit.
No.
So anyway.
You're not pathetic.
I prefer naive.
Okay. That's actually closer, I suppose. You know. I mean, but I know what these things are, and you know, but I've never been interested. I just never had the curiosity.
That's all right. So next time you're at CPAC, I have a card. Just saying.
It's still not as awkward as the times that I've had to explain things to Angie.
Well, you know,
favorite one of all time. What's wrong with the happy ending?
The happy ending.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
It kept coming up, and because she finally came back in the chat, and she's like, "What's wrong with a happy ending?" And Ordy's like, "Let me explain."
Wait, there's too much. Let me sum up. So why can't it just be like fairy tales? That's where I'm like, well, it is.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm breaking right here because Danielle has shared some great news in chat. Her husband is in remission.
Yay!
Awesome.
Yay! Woohoo! Prayers do work, people. Prayers do work. So, good thoughts, vibes, cosmic karma, voodoo. It all works. Trust me. I've done it all.
Except for pot, apparently.
Apparently not. Okay, I don't know if that works or not. So, when it comes to this, but I have heard that people who are undergoing chemo and everything do. It is prescribed for them so that they can stimulate the appetite because they do nutrition. So, there's. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I was never curious enough to figure it out. I was invested in other things like, I don't know, reading and writing and not arithmetic. I can tell you that much. That's also not my friend.
The next time you're at CPAC, when I bring you tea, no questions.
Oh, no, I'm not going to trust anybody.
THC beer is a thing, right?
I have heard.
Dude,
I have heard, yeah.
They have THC coffee. I have some coming.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I'd have to look into that then. That could be a good gateway for me.
All I got to say is in about 300 years, 10% of us are going to be Reavers.
I have a Reaver sword.
You say that like it's a bad thing, sir.
Hey, I have a Reaver sword. I am prepared. And yes, I do keep it honed.
Hasn't ever done pot, but has a Reaver sword. That's.
I'm a woman of weird talent.
That's where I'm going to leave this topic. Hasn't ever done pot, but already has a Reaver sword.
So, anyway, moving on with the topic of the
We're an
evening.
unusual family.
We are. We're very strange, lots. But hey, it works. It does. We're all different. We're all so diverse.
Oh, fun times.
Yeah, seriously. Some of us were not even born on this planet.
True.
See?
I'm just glad I wasn't born in Uranus.
That's funny. Cop, we got a call that you had pot in your car. Me pulls out flower pot. Oh, you mean this? Cop starts laughing. My mistake. What are you growing? Weed.
It's a great joke.
That was Daniel. All Daniel.
Once again, half of
Now
Vermont.
Now I've got to find. Carry on. I've got to find a counter meme.
Of course. All right. So
the meme master
of
has
this
had a
evening-
challenge that he has to accept now.
So tonight we were going to talk about. This was Jeff's idea, so I'm totally throwing you under the bus for this.
Well, I think it's interesting because
I think so too.
The wheels on the bus go squish, squish, squish.
I know we talked about it on our favorite YouTube show or list, but some of the food shows that are out there, like the one person that made both our lists, Max Miller, did an episode Tuesday of John F. Kennedy's last meal, and a show I watch, Mythical Kitchen, have guests on to talk about what their last meal would be. So I thought it would be interesting if we got together and kind of came up with a list of our own, like what would we want if we knew it was our last day on Earth, alive, because I might go home someday.
Sure.
All you can eat, so the day never ends. Oh wait, sorry, my bad.
Your inner and outer fat boy is showing there, Rick.
Hey, my inner fat boy
There it
became an
is.
outer fat boy like 2 decades ago, so I'm good.
But yeah, I thought it'd be an interesting topic because you never know what. I know we talk about favorite food or this dish or that dish from time to time, but if you knew you had, like, say 3 meals left, what would you have? It doesn't have to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just 3 meals.
Just 3 meals. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I had a lot. I mean, I thought long and hard, and giggity. I know, but I was like
drinking.
trying to narrow the field down because I'm not a foodie, but food is just it's such an enjoyment, and so I'm like, yeah, but I really like. I mean, I can't really say. Chocolate truffles. That's not a meal, but it's something that
But
I
it's a
would
good snack.
definitely.
You eat enough of them, it is.
Anyway,
Right.
you may have beat me to it, but it's still contractually required.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Lord.
How dare you?
Okay, so
I keep forgetting
since
you can do
I
that too.
came
I
up-
was like, who the hell's playing that one?
it was.
We have
well
already
done.
doing dueling memes, and we have dueling sound bits.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Not here, obviously. I love it when that gets played when I'm on a podcast because I'm like, I can't say right here, obviously. I remember the first time that I watched that movie when I was in college. It wasn't the first time I watched it, but the first time I watched it after, leaving home or whatever, and we're all sitting around and everything. And, they say the line, and I, without even skipping a beat, I said, not here. And all the girls who were white turned to look at me, and I'm like, I'm Puerto Rican, and they busted out laughing because they didn't know. We were all in the TV room in the dorm that I lived in, and we were watching that, and all of the girls were white except for me, and there must have been like 8 of us. And we're just watching the movie. And I just say that, and then they all look at me. And this is way before, we could pause and rewind and do all that stuff, so. Oh, well. Anyway, moving on. So,
like,
Jeff,
you made us laugh through the best part of the movie.
This was Jeff's idea, so he gets to go first. So give us your I guess, one of your top 3, your third best or whatever.
Probably would be the meal I have every NHL opening night, and that is some sort of a Wagyu beef, usually in the form of a cheeseburger, cooked with fries cooked in Wagyu beef tallow. Because if I'm going to die, I want all the fat in my steak and my potatoes. There's just something about the flavor, especially the fries when they're cooked in the Wagyu tallow, that just, I would die happy if that was even my last meal.
That does sound really, really good.
Just something simple, but like I said, all that fat, all that goodness, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't know. Not saying that if somebody offered it to me, I wouldn't try it, but I think of it kind of as sacrilegious to do that to Wagyu. I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Nope. Do it.
I can't do it.
You could. It's really weird, but I think
it's Wagyuception.
The Walmart by me carries Wagyu ground beef.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
a lower
cheaper.
grade, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's cheaper to buy than it is to buy the regular, even the 93% lean or the 85% lean ground beef.
Yeah.
So it is lower grade, admittedly, but I use that for my meatloaf when I do the the pork and the beef, and all that stuff. And believe me, it makes a difference with that Wagyu. So.
You know what's funny about Wagyu is that there was one point when I was working at this restaurant where we had Wagyu burgers on the menu, and it was just our common, it was like the number 3 burger on the menu. And there must have been like a Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives or something on Food Network where they talked about Wagyu, because for like a month, Kobe was actually cheaper than Wagyu.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
But
yeah, that does sound good though.
But yeah. I would love to try a Scottish cow that was done Wagyu raised.
But you'd have to do it with peanut butter.
Yes, you would.
Okay,
see,
you lost
y'all are just
I
y'all
get
are
the
just
whole
being
peanut
all
butter
kinds
on
of
burger thing, but
sacrilegious. You can't. Y'all no. It's got no. And yes, admittedly, I still have not tried it. I don't plan to.
You must.
Just because no.
As long as you toast the bun, it's best. I think on a toasted bun.
I can't put peanut butter on a hamburger. I just can't do it.
Try it.
Can you put a fried egg sunny side up on a burger.
I've done that with hash browns, but I can't do peanut butter. I don't know. There's a mental block there that I can't get past.
Yeah, you got to get past that.
Now,
Yeah, you do.
Is it plain peanut butter, or is it the sugar with the sugar in it? Process?
No, it's sugar. No, you're just taking straight freaking Jif or Skippy.
Okay,
whatever.
so just the regular stuff that you would find on the shelf, not the specialized.
No, and what you do is instead of your wet condiments, your ketchup, your mustard, your mayo, you use that instead. Other than that, the rest of your burger is exactly the same. I go with Gouda and bacon and a little lettuce, not tomatoes. Chada. I don't know if it starts with a G or a K. It's
with a G. It's with a G, but it's Chada.
Gouda.
Believe me, I was almost slapped by this Dutch lady because I said Gouda.
Okay, well, you know what? You can tell a Dutchman, you just can't tell him much.
Yeah, you can tell Brad to shut up next time.
Dude just spent
who was going to bring him up.
Dude just spent 5 minutes pronouncing Wagyu as Wagyu. I think he can pronounce Gouda however he wants. Just saying.
Whatever. So basically everything except for instead of the ketchup, mayo, mustard,
Correct.
you just substitute the wet condiments for peanut butter. Okay.
You can keep your pickles on it. Whatever you like to do. Your onions. But yeah, it makes a good side for dipping the fries in too.
Yeah. Now, see, I can't eat pickles. So what I do is I put the peanut butter on the toasted bun top side, and I pour I toast the bottom bun, and I pour pickle juice on.
There you go.
The bottom bun.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have a thing against pickles, or is it texture?
Texture.
Okay. All right.
That's what it's. I mean, with me and tomatoes,
it is for
texture.
me. For me, it's both texture and taste. I can't. I mean, I've eaten it. I just don't go out of my way for it. So, but yeah, I have this thing like, I'm not that big fond of dill pickles. That's okay. I can live without them. I can't live without tomato though. Sorry.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I love pickles. Can't do tomatoes. The only way
I love me some pickles.
The only way I can do tomatoes is if they're super, super cold, because to me it's a texture thing. I don't mind the taste of tomatoes. I can eat tomato sauce. I can eat ketchup. I can eat pretty much anything tomato related except for tomatoes themselves, unless they are super, super cold and chopped up really small, and usually buried.
See, and I can do it in salsa all day long too. It is just the gushy, like end of the egg thing with tomatoes that gets me. As Carlin said, we know that's not the end of an egg. It's the beginning of a chicken. It's hen cum.
All right.
Wait a minute. So does that mean I have to start listening to Beatles while I eat my eggs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's a rule now.
Okay.
Well, Rita was a Meet a Maid.
Yes, she was.
Yes, Danielle, you do need to dip your fries in Wendy's Frosty. You will take it back.
Absolutely.
That is an absolute you must.
And if you ever win the lottery and go to McDonald's that actually has their ice cream machine working, it works good
Wait,
with the hot fudge too.
that would be 2 miracles in a row. That's impossible.
Yeah.
That
I come from 20
McDonald's,
different Earths.
that McDonald's is located in North Idaho. Over Idaho.
That McDonald's.
That's where you'll find
that McDonald's is located on Earth 420. Just saying.
Yeah.
Also, if you're familiar with In-N-Out, get the fry sauce. If you're not familiar with In-N-Out, dip your fries in Thousand Island dressing.
I've heard that their sauce is really good.
It's just Thousand Island dressing. I mean,
I don't live near a Wendy's, so the last time it was yesterday. I was in Tyler, and I went to Joann's because I needed some crafting stuff, paints and brushes and whatnot. These women were insane. My God, they were insane. Going insane over the floral section. It was really weird. But anyway, after that, I went straight to Wendy's and I ordered a small Frosty and a small fry. As one does. And, they asked me, you just want the fries? I was like, yes. Okay. And then she's about to put the lid on the Frosty. And I was like, no lid. Because that's just going to, that's the thing I have to remove it.
I'm just going to have to remove it anyway.
And they were like, "You sure, ma'am?" I was like, "Yes." And if you could put the small fries in a big fry container. And she's giving me this really weird look. I just didn't want them to spill over because I put both of them in the cup holders in my Pathfinder.
Uh-huh.
But if it works better if it's in a bigger container, because then the fries don't stick to each other and you can just easily reach in and you don't pull another fry with you and it goes flying into the next seat or whatever.
Well, see,
so I've got it down to an art.
The whole reason the dipping your fries into Frosty thing started is because Wendy's used to have really, really good hamburgers and really, really crappy French fries. So the French fries became a Frosty delivery system because it made them both better.
But now their fries are good.
Plus, that the salt really does enhance the chocolate. So, I mean,
Yes, it does.
long before salted chocolate became a thing, there was fries and Frosties. So,
all right.
So I think we figured out what one of Aggie's last meals would be: French fries and a Frosty.
No. Who's next? Last dessert, maybe.
Okay,
so
so all right. So my number 3 is chicken Devon, but it's the chicken Devon I make. I'm very particular about it because, yes, the broccoli has to be fresh, and yes, you have to make your cream of broccoli soup itself, and then you use rotisserie chicken, and then you roll it into crepes, savory crepes, dill savory crepes, and then drown it in cheese.
Ooh.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Yeah. The first step, make your own cream of broccoli. Then you rotisserie the chicken, break it down, throw it in the cream of broccoli soup, and then stuff the crepes and then drown it in cheese and bake at 350 for 20 minutes.
Ooh, wow. So when you come visit me, just let me know what to pick up.
You got it.
That does sound really, really good. I'm like making a note here. Yeah, I'll probably be, send me the recipe.
It's absolutely decadent. Yeah, you got it.
Okay. All right. How about you, Rick? What would be your third?
Well, as far as, I mean, these are in no real particular order, but the first one I would have to go with, as far as entree, would be slow smoked tenderloin. Because it's, prime rib was what I meant. Sorry, not tenderloin. With loaded mashed potatoes, and then fresh broccoli and cheese. That would be my yeah. So the tenderloin basically rubbed with your favorite spices, slow smoked to about 165 internal, so it's still nice and pink. A little bit of either your choice, creamy or whole or chopped up horseradish to go with it as a garnish. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Yeah. That's my first one. I could die happy after that plate. I know, because I almost have.
Wow. That does sound really good. I think I've had prime rib maybe 3 times in my life, and every single time it was a joy to eat. I mean, that stuff is fantastic.
And I have a smoker now, so guess what I'm doing for Christmas this year?
Really?
The one thing about living in Nevada, you become absolutely fucking jaded about prime rib.
Really?
Because it's everywhere. It's like, everybody competes with their Friday night, Saturday night prime rib dinner. So, yeah, it's like, you get your $5.99 prime rib. And it's like, they just drop a cow on your plate. And they get you on the episode. Would you like that Oscar? Absolutely.
Would you like my thigh?
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I love
one day
prime
we'll
rib,
have
but
cows
yeah,
doing that.
I have been force feeding and excreting myself for months.
All right. I guess it's my turn?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my third one is actually a recipe that my mom made. The first time I ever had it, I was 5 years old. And it was Julia Child's Cocoa Bomb. And I remember sitting, looking at that and saying, I am not eating this mess. I was 5, you know, and it's coq au vin, and it's this fancy one pot dish, you know, and it's supposed to be very hearty and everything. And I'm just looking at it going, these are vegetables. No, I cannot. My mom gave me a look.
Not.
Yes, and my mom gave me a look, and I was like, oh, damn it, I have to eat this. I could not believe the flavor. I couldn't believe that was chicken, because that did not taste like the normal, you know, the regular chicken that, you know, you would cook every Sunday night for dinner or whatever. It was completely different. And I ate everything, you know, that my mom served me, which was, I got a drumstick, and I got the vegetables from the pot and all that stuff. And my mom was like, you really liked it? And I said, yeah. Little did I know that it uses white wine. So, my mom, she would not follow a recipe exactly. She looks at the recipe. She says, okay, I can do that and I can do this, but I have this instead of that. And they're kind of like the same. She was a science teacher. They're kind of like the same, in the same family of taste, you know, that kind of thing. And so she would mess around with what was available. I mean, we lived in Puerto Rico. You couldn't always get broccoli. You couldn't always get, and if you did get it, you'd have to drive 2 hours to San Juan to go find that stuff, you know. And, you know, my parents just couldn't do that every day, or every week, you know. I think my parents could only go to San Juan on a major shopping expedition maybe once every 2 months. So, you know, they would put a cooler in the back of the car, and they would have ice for the things that they would be bringing back. Most notably, I never had ice cream at home until we moved to the States, where you could go to the grocery store and get it, because the grocery store in my hometown didn't carry it. It was very difficult to bring it in. So, you know, so she would do different things, but she also wanted to be very efficient. And one of the things that she did was she would marinate the chicken in the wine for like half a day before making the dish. And it was an amazing flavor experience. And I remember when I graduated from high school, she made that for my graduation dinner. And I mean, there were no leftovers, and it was just 4 people eating, and it was all gone. So for me, it's one of the best dishes. And like I said, my mom doesn't follow an exact recipe. She just uses what's on hand. So I don't know. I have to learn. But she looks at me and says, you can't copy this down. You just have to go with what you know. I'm like, well, I don't know. This is why I'm here. But whatever. So I would love to have coq au vin as one of my last meals. It's just so good.
I've never tried that.
Sorry, I'm drooling.
Didn't even know I was muted. God damn it.
Can we get a professional in here, please?
You were food porn in it. Don't lie. That's why you were muted.
Well, that too.
But that's a dish that I told myself in the coming year I have to learn to make. I would love to go down to visit my parents and actually make it for them instead of having, you know, I mean, my mom's going to be, if I'm turning 57, she's going to be 78. So she's a little long in the tooth to be doing such an intensive dinner. So I have to learn in order to treat my parents. So that's on my schedule to learn before the new year. Okay, Jeff, your turn.
Well, I'm going to follow up your basting chicken in wine with my number 2. And that is my filet mignon with garlic mozzarella mashed potatoes. Now, with my filet mignon, I like to marinate it in a Merlot or Malbec for 4 to 8 hours, preferably chilled.
Mm-hmm.
Then I sear it quickly, typically 2 minutes on a high cast iron, put it in the oven for a little bit. And the mashed potatoes, I prefer russet. I know some like Yukon better, and I get that. But I like the russet. I like adding a little bit of homemade mozzarella, a little bit of crushed garlic, not the 2 bulbs like Gordy would use, or 3 bulbs.
There is nothing wrong with that. I will die on that Orty Hill.
That's a Manorama joke.
Yeah, I accidentally, even though I read 3 cloves, I don't know why, I just went and put 3 bulbs in the salsa.
Yeah.
I still don't see the mistake. Moving on.
So you just make the mashed potatoes. If you have it on hand, a little bit of buttermilk. If not, use the Kerrygold Irish butter, so you get that little bit higher fat content for your mashed potatoes. And you just salt and pepper the filet mignon. And it was my late mother-in-law's favorite dish that I ever made her. Every time I brought one home, which was every 2 weeks, she was giddy that Saturday night because I was in the kitchen making that.
Oh, that's sweet.
Damn, I'm going to need to brush my teeth after the show.
Right.
So when you do the garlic, do you roast the garlic first and then squeeze it in there, or do you just mince it and put it in?
Mince it and put it in.
Okay, got it.
That's why I don't use a lot. I like the flavor of roasted better, but she didn't. So my taste buds kind of went to just the way I made it for like 5 years for her.
Oh, okay. Totally understand. I do both. So depending on whether I'm pressed for time.
Yeah.
So if I have all day, I'll put 3 bulbs in the oven and, drizzle with olive oil and herbs.
And I say fresh made. I would prefer to do it myself if I had the time, but if I didn't, it was store bought. But it was the better mozzarella. It wasn't the cheap ass stuff, but it still worked. Especially if you get those little mozzarella balls fresh from some of the grocery stores that you have, and as the mashed potatoes are being mixed, you throw a couple of those in to give it that little bit of the cheesy, stringy feeling. Yeah,
that's a good idea. I have some of those.
And despite what anyone else says, I know some people love the lumpy mashed potatoes. I love putting my mashed potatoes through a ricer.
Me too. I do the ricer thing, and I'm just like, I have fallen in love with that damn thing. It took me 55 years, but I finally got myself a freaking ricer. And I love that thing. I'll do that with the sweet potatoes. I'll do it with the yucca. I'll do it with, obviously the potatoes. Everything goes through that. As a matter of fact, I took it down when I went to visit my folks, because I was tasked to do one of the dinners while I was there. And I said, I'm going to make mashed potatoes and I'm bringing my ricer. And all of my sisters were like, you're what? I'm like, my ricer, my potato ricer. They had never seen one. They've never seen it. And I was like, do y'all not watch the Cooking Channel or Food Network or anything like that? They always have one on.
Mm-hmm.
And no, they had no idea. And they watched me. My sister, literally on her phone, watching me, she goes to Amazon to order one. So I've converted at least one. I was. So that sounds great. That really does sound really good. Okay, so I guess that's Orty. Orty's up next.
Yes. Okay. So I have to go with traditional Japanese pork tonkatsu. That is, if you don't know the history of it, it's actually kind of fascinating. Is that they took the French breaded veal cutlet and realized that was just too oily for your average Japanese palate. So it was also when pork farming started growing in Japan. This is around the turn of the 20th century. So they started going with a tempura pork cutlet, which is just a tempura fried pork chop. It's fantastic. And that was some shredded cabbage on the side and maybe a couple quail egg shooters. Yeah.
Oh, quail egg shooter, you got me there.
Yeah.
You got me there.
That's just that's there you go. I mean, I'm moving outside the Americanization of the last meal because this is my favorite Japanese dish.
Mm.
Well, I brought in a French dish cooked by a Puerto Rican woman. I mean,
I brought in a French dish cooked by a Japanese 4-star hotel.
Yeah, see?
So
Yeah, but does she know how to camp?
Does she? That's it. Yeah, yo-yo camp.
Very true. All right. So Rick.
All right, so my next choice would have to be, and this one I actually found from an Italian friend of mine, because you guys have heard my story about how I typically make lasagna, and I have an Italian friend who's like, dude, you're not making lasagna, you're making pizza with noodles. So I have an Italian friend who's like, since you don't like ricotta, why haven't you just made a standard, bolognese sauce lasagna with a bechamel sauce instead of the ricotta? And I was like, what is this thing you call bechamel sauce? He's like, dude, it's a fucking roux. I'm like, why did you just say that? So anyway, I made that probably about 2-3 weeks ago for the first time, and oh my god, it's so good. He actually sent me some noodle. He makes his own noodles, and he was coming down this way, so he brought me some homemade noodles to go with it. It's so good. Yeah, so if you are not a fan of ricotta, normally I just used to go nuts with the Parmesan. Instead, grated Parmesan, I would grate my own, just to kind of add a third kind of cheese to it. And he's like, why not just make a bechamel? And I'm like, I've never heard of this. He's like, it's a fucking roux. I'm like, okay, you could have just said that. So yeah, it's basically butter, flour, and milk. You basically season it to taste using whatever seasonings you're already putting in the lasagna, and then Parmesan cheese. So it actually so it's still kind of me doing what I always did. It's just got a roux attached to it too. So it makes the lasagna a little more creamy. So you actually have to let it stand for about 20 minutes before you try to cut it, or it's gonna go everywhere. But it's so.
You will roux the lasagna.
Yeah, you will rue the day. You will rue the day you slice that bitch early. I'm just saying. At least if you want good presentation.
I want to hijack Rick's dish. Is there a better food than lasagna to eat the day or two after you make it?
Literally anything else.
No, he has a point.
Well, not I know for you.
He has
absolutely any other thing.
He has a point. A day-old lasagna is awesome. I'm just saying.
I was the sous chef to the former chef to the late King of Jordan. And one of the things that he taught me was how to deep fry lasagna. And he said, always wait until it's at least a day. It has been a day in the refrigerator. And then you can coat it in this flour mixture, and then you can deep fry it. It was the best thing I ever had. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. And I'm like, you need to write this down. You need to you need to write a book. You need to write a cookbook, because this is fantastic. Every single meal that we had when we had that get together was his own personal recipes. And I'm like, King Hussein ate this? And he's like, oh yeah. There were times when he would call up at 3:00 in the morning and he felt hungry, and he would say, would you mind cooking this? Some easy dish or whatever. But still, I mean, it was I cannot tell you how awesome deep fried lasagna is.
Tremendous.
So yes, I got to go with Rick on this. Lasagna. That's great.
So Aggie, yours?
Mine? Okay, you guys are going to see that there is a theme throughout my top three. And believe it or not, I had no idea until I put them together that they all have something in common, and you'll figure it out. So my second choice would be rabbit fricassee. And this is another dish that my mom... Huh?
Not Thumper. Sorry, I had to.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Oh, it's going to be duck season on Thanksgiving because I'm making duck for Thanksgiving. So
Yeah, duck poutine all the way for Thanksgiving.
But it was, one of the things that I remember growing up. My mom, if we got lucky enough and the trap caught a rabbit, my mom and I would go and skin it and prepare it and everything, and she would make it in fricassee. And yes, white wine. And and it's funny because even though the grocery store was small, the liquor stores were not, right? You could always go and buy, and I'll be honest, it was mostly rum that they carried, but they would have their white wine and red and rosé, and it was usually something like Paul Masson or whatever. It wasn't high priced wine by any stretch. But Dad, if Mom got that rabbit, my dad would immediately, he would see it. He didn't even have to say anything. He would just get in the car, go into town, go to one of the liquor stores, buy one of the carafes of Paul Masson of white wine, bring it home, because he knew that that's what she was going to make. And it is fantastic. I love it. And most people, there's so many people that either have never had rabbit or have had it cooked wrong. But rabbit is a very easy meat. It's just that because it's lean, you have to be very quick when you can't overcook it. So that's where the wine comes in.
In an abandoned warehouse with no lights, just shadows, and soon no rabbits. The purpose of the event is to pass the torch from one generation heavy metal to the next, and there live in his black leather hunting outfit with a shotgun guitar with spikes coming out of it. Ozzy
Had to be done. Not even sorry. Had to be done.
I'm surprised it wasn't White Rabbit by Jefferson.
No, we saved that for a different show.
Okay, I love that song, by the way.
Yeah, if I would have let it keep playing, it's actually Metallica doing Elmer Fudd Kill the Rabbit.
Okay. So, but it's not a hard dish to make. It's just labor intensive because we were catching the rabbits. But now you can actually go to a butcher or specialty food store that does carry rabbit or whatever, and it's something that it does require a fat. My mom used to use either salt pork or bacon, depending on what she had, and the white wine, but she was crafty because she had chicken bouillon, but she would throw the bouillon in there with the white wine instead of putting it in the water and making broth, right? So the flavor was more, it was richer, and it wasn't as watery. So that was another trick that she had. But you'll eat onions, mushrooms, bacon, chicken broth, that kind of stuff, and the white wine. You got to have the white wine, And it's just one of those really hearty. I would think this is a cold weather dish. It's also a one pot dish, so. But it's just like I said, most of my dishes are like I remember my mom making them, that kind of thing. So they're kind of near and dear to me for that. But they were very rare because they were kind of labor intensive, and they did require things that normally people where I lived didn't have on hand. So that's why they were made more special than others. So yeah, I would have rabbit fricassee. That's my second meal.
God, I'm hungry.
Glad I ate before we did this show. I'd probably be eating my microphone by now if I hadn't.
I think I overate. My tummy hurts.
Yeah, I had some mustard shrimp pasta dish from Home Chef right before we came on, so I'm feeling all right. But
But you could nibble on something.
yeah, I can nosh.
I could nosh. All right. Okay.
Which,
so
by
that
the way,
was
that fantastic pear I had yesterday,
Uh-huh.
I mentioned it to my coworker, and she said, "You know what? I've got bags of them in my car. I don't know what to do with. Let me go grab you a bag of them." I know. Yeah.
Did you swoon?
I swooned a bit. I may have squeed, which for a truck driver.
No, yeah.
I mean, not like an Aggie squee, but like subvocal.
It's a truck driver squeeze.
Dogs heard it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think pears are one of my favorite fruits. And that's saying a lot because I'm a big fruit eater, but
Okay, check your supermarket for green grapes right now. They're the size of a thumb, and they're like eating a seedless plum.
oh yeah, I got some. I got
Yeah,
some. Yeah,
fucking
I did.
amazing.
Those are great. But I don't know if you did anybody ever read The Movable Feast by Edward Hemingway, Papa Hemingway, Ernest?
Oh, I'm sure I did. At
some point, yeah.
I remember reading it when I think I was maybe 16, 17 or something like that. Something stuck in my head. And at the time, pears were not something that was even in my radar, but he described them as sugary sand. And that made me want to go buy pears to see if that was true. And damned if it wasn't true.
Yep.
And after that, I have been hooked on pears ever since.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah,
that's an apt description. Yeah,
It
okay. Getting back to food channels and shit like that. One of the most, if I had a pear tree, I would do this where they would take empty wine bottles and tie them onto the branches so the pear grew inside the wine bottle, so you can infuse your vodkas and your wines and shit with the pear.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people do that with meads too.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so
where were we?
We're at Jeff with his last one.
Okay.
I'm like swooning over all the food.
For number one, we're going to assume I'm getting into my time machine that I don't have, allegedly. And
Is it a DeLorean? It's a DeLorean, isn't it?
No, fuck the DeLorean. Sorry.
One will not speak ill of the flux capacitor. It is fluxing.
Why would you do that? The tailpipe's hot, bro. Don't do that. Just saying.
It'd make more sense than the DeLorean going back in time and landing in the same damn spot.
The owner of the DeLorean car, please check your trunk. I think you'll find a rebate.
And probably a 5-ball.
Yeah.
Gives new meaning to junk in the trunk. Just saying.
If I had the ability to have one perfect meal one last time, it would be the day after Christmas breakfast at my grandmother's. It was eggs that were from her chickens. It was butter and milk from her oldest son's dairy farm. It was bacon from her middle son's butcher shop. It was cooked over a wood stove to perfection, because that woman never made a damn bad dish in her life, all 4'9" of her. With homemade bread, with a nice, she did buy store-bought. She didn't make her own tea. That's one failing. She did make wine, though. With a nice cup of hot tea. So you get some eggs over easy, with the homemade bread, the bacon, the hash browns from the potatoes that were grown in her field. And then after you take all the copious amounts of that you can possibly take, for an after-breakfast pre-lunch snack, you eat the yellow cake that she made the night before and set out in the middle of her dining room table on a cooling rack with just a simple, what we called a cake cloth, thrown over it, no icing. Moistest damn cake I've ever had in my frickin' life. And then I would die happily, quite happily, if I could experience that one more time.
That sounds so amazing. It really does. It does. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should like do the same.
Yeah. One of these days.
It's intensive. Yeah, it's labor intensive, but it's kind of like a goal, you know. That's the way I am with the whole Coco Bun.
And here's the thing: while I didn't have any on my toast, she had 3 or 4 different kinds of marmalades or jams and jellies that were homemade for people that wanted that on their toast as well. And this was every Christmas day or day after Christmas, after she had spent all Christmas Day cooking a big family for the entire family. And she had 8 kids and 43 grandchildren. 8 kids, 30 grandchildren, and I think at last count 87 great-grandchildren. And usually at any given time, 40 people were walking in and out of her house during Christmas Day.
That sounds so nice. That sounds so, okay, maybe Hispanic? I don't know.
No, she's full-blooded Irish.
Irish,
which is distant cousins to Puerto
and
Rican.
Hispanics, yeah, they're all like the same people. They really are.
Same people, different island.
Exactly. Yeah, we identify with the Irish.
I mean, her maiden name was Bope. You can't get much more Irish than Bope.
This is true. This is true. No, that sounds like a really, really. My God, what an amazing memory! It really is.
I mean, really, the only thing that was really stored, other than the dishes and the silverware, was the tea bag. Everything else was either her or her sons or her daughters had made. And it just,
Yeah, I just I went shopping. I bought a huge bag of flour. I brought that home, and my husband asked me, "What the hell is that for?" I said, "For baking." And he was like, "Oh." like, "Oh yeah, you do that." I'm like, yes, especially during Christmas.
Oh, that's what the oven's for.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, what was funny is they had she had a stove. Don't get me wrong, she had an electric stove, but she had an electric heater to heat the house, or a wood-fired heater to heat the house. But it was in the kitchen. So my grandfather cut out the top of the stove or the heater and put cooking iron plates on it.
Ooh,
so they would heat up. And in the front, she would make a 1-skillet breakfast, and on the back, she'd have the water boiling for tea. And heat the house.
Multi-purpose. That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay, so we're up with Orty for your last meal, your very, very last meal.
Okay, well then
the last one.
The very last. So while we're talking about Christmas, this is what I've been making for Christmas the last few years, and this would be my last meal. First, I do a beef loin, and I'll cook that and then cut it into petite fillets. Then I will Oscar those. If you don't know what Oscar is, that's a tarragon hollandaise sauce on top of some sort of seafood. You can use shrimp, crab, lobster, scallops. I do mine with crab. I'm not a big fan of asparagus, so I'll do it with green bean instead. Now, on the side, I've got my Palms aligot, which I know a lot of you have seen my Twitter when I made that a few years ago. That is 1.5 pounds of potatoes and 12 ounces of cheese, usually like a Swiss Gruyere or So that's you in deference to most mashed potato recipes where you wash the starch off of them, you want the starch because that makes it stiffer, and that's also really, really fucking good on top of the steak too. Then my sour cream apple pie that I make.
Wow. Sour cream apple pie.
I need to send you that recipe too.
Yeah, I kind of need it because I've been looking to make one with bourbon as well.
There you go.
But sour cream would actually pair well with some bourbon too.
You could use the bourbon in place of the hazelnut extract that I use.
Okay, noted. Yeah, send that recipe.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I can see that as a good.
Yeah,
I have to do that for one of my beers.
There you go.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, especially if you warm the bourbon before you put it in.
Yeah,
so,
you'd have to.
Yeah, you'd have to. It's yeah. So because that actually makes a bourbon extract, a cheap bourbon extract, but because it is okay. Not what is the gaseous form of effervescent? That's what because that's when you're releasing everything of you're not like
heaven
seltzer, but yes,
heaven.
So yeah, that is my absolute final meal.
That sounds extremely delicious, and I hope I will be getting all of the recipes slightly closer this evening. Okay.
Send the recipe cards to Aggie Rican, care of.
Yes, care of.
And the KLRN 2024 cookbook will be released sometime next year.
Dude, we should honestly do that. We could make bank. I'm not even playing.
Right.
We should really just.
We should.
We actually have a publisher in one of our groups. We should. I'm just saying that would be kind of awesome.
Okay, let's start planning because this would really be a cool idea. This really would.
Sure.
I mean,
but do we get the centerfold with Orty in a thong? Because that will be the real seller. We don't need your face. You don't need your face, Orty. We just need you in a thong, centerfold.
You realize Orty's going to come visit me, and I'll be like, who the hell are you?
Right.
You don't look Amish.
all I know is if we're going to do that, when the centerfold opens, it has to play the instrumental version of Let Me See That Thong. Just saying.
And the thong has McAfee for president, right?
Right.
McAfee
and on that rather
McAfee for president Earth 420.
It's a rather odd visual to go to the next one, but okay. Rick,
not really, because my last dish has hollandaise sauce. Just saying.
Oh. Okay.
And Rick almost made Aggie choke again. My record holds. Woo-hoo!
Yes, it does.
All right, so my next one is actually kind of a little weird thing. It's kind of a creation I came up with on my own. It's actually a 3-egg omelet with hollandaise sauce too. So you have two options depending on whether you want to go low calorie or fat kid. So because you got to use the egg yolks to make the hollandaise, so you can actually make your omelet out of the whites if you want. But I'm a fat kid, so I just usually use 6 eggs and then fold the leftover whites into the other eggs too to make it even bigger, because then it's thicker and fluffier if you fold it right. So it's basically an omelet stuffed with bell peppers, mushrooms, jalapenos, preferably fresh if you have them, because we grow some in our garden here. And then usually ham, bacon, and sausage with cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, white cheddar cheese, and then just a little bit of Colby Jack. And then basically, so you cook your omelet like normal, and you're making the hollandaise sauce at the same time. And as you plate, the hollandaise sauce goes over the top of the omelet, and it's amazing. Just saying.
So basically, it's
a heart attack on a plate, which is why.
No, I just had the perfect description for it, and then it just left my head. Okay, so it's basically eggs Benedict, but an omelet instead of.
Yes, because I'm not a huge fan.
Egg.
I'm not a huge fan of poached eggs unless they're hard fried, and then they don't taste right with hollandaise sauce. So
sure.
I always make an omelet with hollandaise instead.
No, but I totally see the value that you could actually cut the omelet and put it on the muffin with the Canadian bacon on top, or whatever your bruschetta, whatever you're going to put on top, and then the holiday. Yeah, no, because I do enjoy eggs Benedict, but I'm not always in the mood for a poached egg because, sometimes a hangover and a poached egg just don't go together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the medicinal value of an eggs Benedict for a hangover is a scientific fact.
Well, so if you're going to go that route and so mine's full on omelet, but if you're going to go that route, the best thing to do would be, the muffin, and then in the omelet itself, just put all the cheeses, the hollandaise sauce over the top, and then whatever meat you would like on top of the omelet. Because that would, especially if you're going to do like prosciutto or something, that would be really good. Just saying. Now I'm making myself hungry again, and I just ate.
You do fried spam.
Why would you take such a great creation and ruin it with fried
because spam is awesome.
What are you?
Spam is fantastic.
What are you, part fucking Hawaiian or something? No way. Go away. Ugh, it's just gross.
I'm Hawaiian Amish.
Hawaiian language and Finnish language are not that different, so yeah.
Would that make you Hamish? We probably shouldn't call you that though, because that's kind of close to that other name.
Hamish.
AOC might start dating you then.
Stop.
Dating? Probably not, but he might get to hit it at least once. Just saying.
Hamish, not Hamas. Well.
Okay. That's a hell of a... Oh, God. I don't even want to think about that.
Oh, that's perfect. Horty, did you see what Danielle put in chat?
Yeah. Yes. Also, it's rowboating, which is why the good Lord gave us two hands.
Yep.
It's a little slower, but more methodical.
Yes.
Sorry. Oh. All right. I guess I'm up.
Hard
right?
to listen to, but I give it an 8 because I could dance along with it.
Yeah. It's got a funky beat, and I can bug out to it. I give it an 8.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. So my turn. This last dish is pretty straightforward. I'm sure Orty has probably made it. Paella.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would have as my last. And it's because growing up, this was a dish that we did not cook in the house. We cooked it outside. Why? Because the pan was huge. The traditional paella pan is at least 2 feet, if not bigger, in diameter. So it's a very big pan. It will not fit on a common everyday stovetop because this dish is supposed to feed a lot of people. And it was always great. We had cinder blocks in the back, and we would make, my dad would make the low burning fire, with the coals and everything to start, and set up cinder blocks around it to hold up the pan itself. So we didn't have a wire rack that we could just place the pan. The cinder blocks were, placed around so that they would hold up the pan and the fire would be right below it. And I remember this dish requires absolutely no water, no chicken broth, none of that. It's just, my mom just used white wine to cook the rice because it gave such a beautiful browning to the rice at the bottom. And you need that browning. You need the rice to kind of burn a little bit, turn brown, and stick to the bottom of the pan. And that gives it so much flavor. So the white wine actually was more conducive to producing a better, I think they call it a socarat or something like that here. Pegao is what we called it. And so, but my mom would get chorizo from the local butcher. We would sacrifice a couple of chickens and a guinea fowl.
Sacrifice. Now it's Santeria.
Well,
it's
not paella unless you got to throw some of that in there. So, there was that we would get some, seafood as well. shrimp, squid. If mom got lucky, if she found squid on one of her trips to San Juan and brought it home, we knew we were going to get paella in a few days because that's the only thing she used squid for. Sometimes my cousins, if they would go to the beach, they would get some blue crabs and trap them in these giant saltine tins. Saltine crackers used to come in and just put a bunch of them in there with some water and just bring, come home. And then it would be an all day affair. It doesn't take long to cook, but if you're making a huge amount, it does take a while because you can't, nothing cooks at the same rate. So you'd throw in the stuff with all the bones first, and the ones with the least, like the shrimp, would be the last that you put in there to cook. And it would be an amazing experience because we're all outside and we're all watching it, and everything. And it was one of the dishes that my mom taught all of us to make, and none of the sisters make it the same way at all. It's like we all know what we're doing because we saw her doing it, and yet we all do it differently. And it's a dish it's like Hungarian goulash, really.
Goulash it's like playing telephone. Everybody picks up something different along the way.
Yeah, it really is, Hungarian goulash, but there's no set recipe because it was all the leftover stuff that got made into the stew. So there was never a set recipe for Hungarian. And it's the same thing with paella. You can go to Spain. It's practically the national dish, right? You can go there and you will find that there is no set recipe for what goes in a paella. However, there are some that are purists that only put seafood in it. There are some that are purists that only put pork products in it. There are some that only put fowl. So my mom was like, screw that. I put whatever I want in it, and whatever meats we had on hand, that made it in there. And like I said, the only dish that I recall where you had pork, you had chicken, you had seafood, and all of those flavors just cooking in that beautiful brew that formed from the pegao and the white wine and all of that. It was amazing. It's an amazing dish, and now I gotta go cook it. I want to cook it this weekend. Just like, no, I can't.
Fun sidebar. I got a friend of mine, one of these, who he loves making paella, and I got him one for Christmas last year. Loge makes a 15-inch carbon steel paella skillet.
Yes, I know, and it's like, I need that in my life. I really need that in my life.
It's actually, yeah.
And it's smaller than what my mom had.
Sure.
But it's still, it's a good size.
It's pre-seasoned. It's 15-inch. It's kind of funny. They could totally rebrand it as a carbon steel wok too.
Oh yeah.
Because the difference in the pans is only nominal.
Very. I mean, that's what my mom ended up using when we moved over here, and she couldn't take that big pan with her. She used a wok pan. So, which made it kind of a little difficult because, once you cook some of the ingredients, you have to scoot them off to the side to cook the other ingredients. You're scooting the rice away so that the ingredients can touch the pan and all that stuff. And it doesn't really, the wok was like difficult, but she managed. She did it. So
it's funny you're talking about Hungarian goulash too. That's my New Year's Day breakfast. I take all of the things that are not the goulash, but I take all the things that are left over from cooking of the holidays, the mushrooms, the green onions, garlic, anything else that you're just cleaning out the fridge. Everything else that I use to cook all the holiday meals that survived to New Year's Day become a frittata.
Oh, God, that is such a great idea. But isn't that what a frittata was for? To get all the leftovers in there?
Exactly.
Okay, so
if I made chorizo fried rice at any point, I got that in there. I've got, bacon, all the sides. Summer sausage that was like the Christmas appetizer, that's in there. And yeah.
My mom made one year, and to this day, it was like the best one she ever had. She had amarillos, which is the very ripe plantains. They're very yellow. And she had those that she cooked first, and then she got corned beef. And that was left over that she had made with sofrito and all this other mess that she makes in it. And she layered all of the banana, the plantain first, and then put that on top, and then the egg, the scrambled egg over it and everything. And oh my God, to this day, that is the best one I ever had. The sweet and the saltiness, and then the egg. Oh, it was just great.
Mm-hmm.
And she never had a recipe. It kills me. Okay. All right. So I guess with that comes the close of the show.
I think we still got Rick.
No. Oh, did we skip Rick? No, Rick had his.
We didn't.
Oh, okay. That's right.
I did my hollandaise omelet, and then we made it an actual eggs Benedict hollandaise omelet.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, by the way, I was making notes. Yeah, one of the worst things that I found is that if you buy the hollandaise sauce, the packet from McCormick or whatever, it has yeast in it, and I cannot use it because it has yeast in it. So I have to make mine from scratch to make sure that there's no yeast in it, and it's
better anyway.
It is better. It's just labor intensive,
Yeah, I mean it's risk breaking.
Yes, very much so. I was hurting, but it was worth it.
So you're saying I would be good at making that?
Yes.
Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff.
What?
Jeff.
What?
Don't want
Never
me.
a bad time for a masturbation joke.
I play hockey.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
long
Sure.
rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
going-
because you
that's-
played hockey. Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, because we all know the pages are still stuck together.
Stop! Oh my God.
That's not true. I have gone digital. I just have to clean my monitors on a regular basis.
Oh, that was one of the things about the Playboy magazines, y'all.
That's why I brought it up. I was doing a circle back to the beginning of the show.
So,
see what I did there?
But Rick and Jeff know the story of the Playboy magazines I bought today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you were listening, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, some of the pages are stuck together, but that's not due to what you think it is, but it
sure
kind of
it's
made me
not.
wonder. And I did
It's
have gloves
not.
on. But I was
Smart. Where was your black light?
no.
You don't need no more was it Jackson Pollock pictures anywhere.
Actually, I got my hands on two low power and high power black lights. So I don't want to use them. No, I just want to be innocent for a little while longer.
Too late.
A little while.
You've been working with us too long. There's no innocence for you anymore.
I know.
I hate to tell you, but the Amish ruined us first, and now he's finally gotten around to you. Just saying.
I ruin everything. I am a ruiner.
That's okay. We still love you.
Speak for yourself. Just kidding.
Do we really? Yeah, we do.
All right. Well,
Love him like
we
a
have come
rash.
to the end of the show, and I'm sure that Rick is tired. So, Rick, why don't you go and tell us where we can find you?
It's easier to tell you where you can't find me. Anyway, so tomorrow night, because we have makeup work to do, it's still Juxtober, even though it's November. So we'll be doing witches again tomorrow night on Juxtaposition.
Oh, yeah.
Then so that'll be 11 p.m. Eastern. Then I will be back Monday morning doing the Rick Robinson Show from 6 to 8 in God's time zone, 7 to 9 for you people on the East, and way too fucking early for you people on the West. Looking at you, Orty. And then Tuesday, again, Rick Robinson Show. We're just going to get that one out of the way now. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 Eastern, every morning. And then Tuesday night, I'll be running the Loftus Show and then producing for you and Brad. Wednesday night, lineup change, whatever, at 7 Eastern with my producing for G, and then the ladies of the Red Line, and then finishing off with either Rick and Orty or Rick and Alien, whichever one shows up for work that night. Just saying. Just giving you crap, Orty. and
It's not that I'm not trying.
I know.
Yeah, you're very trying, Amish. We know.
Oh, I am.
Oh!
Who warned you, though?
Joke well crafted. Thank you.
That was good. That was good. But who warned you, like, the second week in September when you were like, oh, it's going to start slowing down for me in October? And I'm like, you said it out loud.
Yeah, I jinxed.
Anyway, you never say that out loud. So then anyway, so now America Off the Rails, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. This coming Thursday will be a 60-minute edition because there's a different time slot for the show after. And then Jen and Rick at 10 Eastern. And then back around here doing this again with Aggie. And when I'm not doing that, you can find me on most social media platforms at RowdyRick73. And you can find me as a contributor on the Loftus Party, the executive producer, LoftusParty.com, the executive producer of the Loftus Party podcast. And you can find me on a website known as Twitchy. And I'm out of breath now. Somebody else take a turn. Jesus Christ.
Okay, Jeff, you're next.
Well, unlike other host guests on the show, you cannot find me in several different DM rooms. Couldn't resist that one. Sunday night, Lost Wonder, Space and Science. Doing something Monday, but I'll let you talk about that. Tuesday, Manorama over in Rumble on Rancor Steve. Wednesday night on my own Rumble, probably streaming me and my son's Baldur's Gate 3 experience. Oh, God, and I don't know where else. I'm doing way too much of this shit. Stoner Brewing Co. on Twitter.
Okay. That's a long list. But don't forget, we have to add another one.
I said it. I'll let you talk about it.
Oh, that's right. All right. Okay, fine. Orty, you're up next.
As Rick said, you can find us tomorrow night on the makeup episodes of Juxtaposition. We have 2 we have to make up, so we will be doing that. Then Tuesday night, you can find me on Rumble, Rancor Steve's Rumble for Manorama with Jeff. Wednesday, you can find me on Rick and Orty if I have a chance to make it. No Culture Shift this week, and then back around again Saturday night for the last of the follow-up Juxtober Juxtapositions. And you can also find me on Twitter as Ordnance Packard and wherever fine Amish butters are sold.
If I may add on, Tuesday's Manorama show is the 1-year anniversary of the show. There are going to be several guest visits, people you may or may not know stopping by and talking and having fun. So it's a big kind of a big deal. Steve wasn't sure if that show would even last a year based on popularity, but we're pulling solid numbers over there. So please tune in if you get the chance.
We're going to try and cut by 9 so that I know I want to go watch it. Because I heard it was the
now that I know that, I'll just fade Brad down and cut. Just saying.
All righty, okay. So I guess that leaves me.
Yes.
Well, you can find me at Aggie Rican and at Aggie the Barkeep over on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I don't care anymore. Nobody checks with me, so whatever.
Elon's Playhouse.
I guess. You can find me 8:30 p.m. Eastern Tuesday nights doing the Cocktail Lounge with the ever suave Brad Slager. And Friday nights, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, doing He Said, She Said. Right now with Rick. Hopefully Mickey will be coming back soon. And once a month, we do Toxic Masculinity at 8 o'clock Eastern, the last Wednesday of every month. And it's Rick, Orty, and G doing the show while I'm, serving the drinks. And this Monday will be the official launch of our new book podcast Jeff and I are doing. And we're very excited. I have been studying my book, Jeff. I hope you have been too. Because you're actually doing homework for this book.
I'm doing homework. Yes.
Yes, you are. And he'll explain. But it's going to be fun. we are doing a book podcast where we, read a book. It's going to be once a month. We read a book and we discuss it, and we also find a libation to match the book in a way. So there'll be an explanation. So we're going to, a liquor recipe will be provided, or a beverage, touted, or, however we decide. And we will have guests that also come on with their own books and everything. So it'll be a lot of fun. Tune in for that one. That's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern?
Probably 8:30, like what rest of your shows.
8:30 Eastern? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be this Monday. So stay tuned for that. It should be a lot of fun. I'm so excited. I cannot tell you. My book is so cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, you guys. We hope you have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing y'all Saturday and next week.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Aggie. It was fun. Now I have to go make a snack dough. I'm a fat kid, bro.
I know, me too.
Same.
I have to say this because I didn't say it earlier. It's the only intro so cool that has the chair spin built in.